Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I am also recording this on video, which I don't usually do, but I'm really excited about it. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to see how the process of having this on video is for me. I know I've talked about this a lot in the past, but social media in comparison and how I end up dealing with all of that and how it can be really difficult for me to post so many things online sometimes because I really have to figure out my why all the time. I really have to figure out, why is this something that I'm doing, and is it something that is helping people, or is it something that could potentially be harming people? So it took me a while to get there, and I'm going to be doing a lot of, I think, inner work in these next few months with working on doing an audio or a video podcast and seeing how that is. But we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes, and I'm excited for it. So if you're on the YouTube version of this, which I will try and link in the description of the just podcast session, if you're on Spotify or anything like that, in case you want to watch that. I know personally I actually really enjoy watching video podcasts instead of listening to them. I rarely actually listen to podcasts on Spotify or anywhere. It's yeah, I'm admitting that now. So I actually really enjoy watching them on YouTube instead, but everyone's different, and I figured I wanted to have this option open for people because I think it'd be really helpful, and I think it's also probably a little bit more relatable to actually see someone talking to you. And I mean, the whole point of this is to feel like we're really just sitting down and talking to each other, and to feel like we're having real life conversations and being honest about the fact that like life is not perfect. So I feel like actually being able to see me if you choose to watch the YouTube content is, I feel like, a good option. I just like that. It makes me feel it makes me feel like it's a very good option and just very authentic. So we're going to do that. So if you are watching on YouTube, you'll see I look down quite often because I have my computer here. Lovely computer. I love my computer. And I am going to be doing a lot of just kind of looking down and making sure that I'm following my outline here. So this is what I've always done when I am doing the podcast, but I've never really had to explain it because I've never really done video editing. And I also have a cup of tea next to me. It's really hot though, so I'm not drinking it yet. But yeah, so let's get started. Last week I talked a little bit about my intentions for the month and how I'm planning on preparing for 2014, and I'm splitting up those intentions into 3 different episodes throughout the month of each separate intention and how I'm planning on doing that. Now, I will say this week we have a video content one. The next week we won't, because I had already pre-recorded that one before I decided to do any video content. So next week we won't have that, and I will try and get a vlog out instead if people are interested in that, and honestly just how I record my podcast episodes and the background on that, which I'm actually working on editing right now at the same time. So I'll try and get that out instead of the podcast episode. The podcast episode will be up on Spotify and Apple Music, wherever you listen, but it won't be up on YouTube. So just a little heads up there. And then after that, we should be hopefully having all of them up on YouTube if this is something that ends up working out for me and I'm able to manage my time well with it. So that was a lot of talking. A lot of people, especially if you're not watching the YouTube, probably not very interesting or exciting. So let's get started on this. So, like I already said, last episode I talked a lot about my intentions, and one of those intentions was dedicating time to get to know myself and to love myself and just be easy on myself. And I have learned this a lot throughout the last years. Honestly, throughout the last, how long? I don't know. It's been quite a long time. I think probably when I started learning about all of this and just learning who I am was when I had PANDAS disorder, which I've said I would do an episode on that so many times and I haven't yet. It is in my schedule now and I'm planning on getting it out in January, so I will have an episode on PANDAS disorder. It's a heavy topic, and I don't know, I just wasn't ready to talk about it yet on the podcast. So I will get that out. But a little bit of background was just I had some pretty severe medical issues, and my life really turned upside down. And I was kind of forced to get to know myself in that case because it was just me. I was kind of forced to deal with all of the pain, and I ended up getting forced to learn how to improve and grow from that. And I think that's probably when my journey started on getting to know myself. And through that time, I really just learned how grateful I was for me. I mean, when I was sick, I didn't feel like me at all. I felt like everything that I knew had just disappeared. And it made me realize how grateful I had been to have me. And all I wanted was to have that version of me back, or to have any sort of knowledge of who I was back. So that was the first moment when I really started realizing how important it is to get to know and you love yourself, because it was the moment that was all taken away from me that I realized how much I missed myself and how grateful I had been to have myself. So that was the beginning of my journey. That was the beginning of figuring out everything about who I am. And I struggled a lot. I went through a lot of pain, a lot of self-discovery. And it was just a lot. Now, I hope that no one else has to do this, but I know that reality is that sometimes we go through difficult situations, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a difficult breakup, the just changing transitions, all of that, or whether it's like, yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that can cause pain in our lives and also be an opportunity for self-discovery. That's not saying that these things are good. I'm not glad that I was sick. It's not a good thing that I was sick, but I am glad for what it taught me because I chose to learn from it. So I think I don't want anyone to have to go through a difficult experience in order to learn. But if you are going through a difficult experience, one option or one thing that is maybe just something to play around with and see, like, is there something for me to learn from this? Is there something that I can learn from this? But even if you don't go through a difficult situation, which I hope you don't, there's a lot of just smaller things that we learn from every day. And I think the first step to actually learning about yourself is being conscious of the fact that you are going to spend your entire life with this body and soul and human being that you are. So why not get to know yourself? You know your best friend, you know the ins and outs. You can maybe predict the end of their sentences. You know the way that they're going to react to something. But you don't know that about yourself. So the message here that I'm trying to convey is that you want to get to know yourself. You want to get to know the person that you are on the inside, the person that you're spending your entire life with. No one knows you better than yourself. But sometimes it doesn't really feel like that. So make it feel like that. Make it try and feel like that. Make the time to get to know yourself. So that, I feel like, is the biggest thing, is to first consciously decide that you want to get to know yourself. Probably the hardest part of all of this is to consciously decide that and then actually do it. And some ways that I personally have been getting to know myself, which it's a whole journey. It takes a long time. I'm not saying that this is like how you do it, but lately in my life, the things that I've been doing to dedicate time to love myself and take care of myself is actually spending time alone. I've been going through a lot of transitions lately, good transitions, ones that I'm really excited about, really happy about, and just overall so grateful about. But that also means that I have been really focusing on who I am and what kind of people I want to be surrounded by, and also what kind of things I maybe necessarily don't need to commit to. For example, yeah, I'm in college and a lot of people like to stay out late. I personally am not someone who likes to stay out late. I will sometimes if it's for something that I want to, but a lot of times I don't actually end up staying out very late, or I don't end up doing a bunch of the activities because I really have been valuing my alone time right now. And it's an era, it's just a chapter in my life. There are other times where I'm craving that time out and being with people, and right now I've been really craving that time for myself and refocusing and just really being grateful for the human being that I am. So some things that I've been doing to do that is really spending time alone. One of my favorite things to do these days is going to coffee shops alone. I am a big reader. I love reading, especially mystery books. So I have been actually spending a lot of my time going to a new coffee shop every week or every weekend or whenever it ends up being, and getting sometimes even just the cheapest thing that they have because, money. But then also just sitting there for hours and hours and just enjoying my time with myself there. And it's been really nice. I've also really been spending time in at night instead of going out. I've been I think at least right now in my life, my friends will invite me to things, but they already know that the answer is most likely going to be no, not right now. Because right now, in this moment, I've been really enjoying going to bed early, spending time with myself, just embracing that alone time, embracing that time to just exist. So honestly, after about 8 o'clock, I'm usually my social battery is just drained for the day, and I'll just come back to my room, enjoy my time, watch a show, read a book, or just sit. A lot of times I've been just sitting on my phone lately, which I need to work on. Not great at all, and it definitely hurts my mental well-being. So that is one of my intentions for 2024 and the end of this month, is to try and be more mindful about my consumption on my phone and figuring that all out. But yeah, I've really been enjoying that early night reading, being by myself, all those things that are just bringing you back to the core. Just being offline has been really helpful for me in these moments. And I don't know, it's really showed me a lot about myself. Okay, let's see, what else do I have on this list? So another thing I've been really focusing on lately is my eating habits. Now, I'm not saying oh my God, no sweets, nothing like that. I hate the idea of the just big diet culture. And yes, taking care of yourself is good. Yes, eating healthy is good, but don't shame yourself from it. So that's not at all what I'm saying here, and I'm trying to make that clear here. But for me personally, I have always been a person that my mental health really depends on the type of foods that I'm eating. As long as they feel like they are feeding my body and I feel good about what I am consuming, then I don't really care about the rest of what I'm eating. That is just my personal thing. That is how I am. I'm not saying you need to be like that. And in fact, please don't do something just because I'm doing it. But that is what I personally have been doing lately. So when I say eating healthy, it doesn't mean not eating sweets. I love my sweets. I have a really bad habit of eating dark chocolate cake before bed, right before bed, which I've been told is not good for me, but I'm not going to listen to that because I really like it. But one thing that has been super helpful is just making sure that I have at least 2 to 3 meals per day that feel like they are fueling my body in some way, shape, or form, and actually benefiting me. I try to have my core meals like that. Breakfast, I usually slack on a little bit. So usually lunch and dinner are my big things like that. I have always just really enjoyed eating my fruits and vegetables. I'm just that kind of person. I know. I'm also vegetarian, so that might explain some stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's just always been really helpful for me, and that's been really helpful for me in learning who I am too. I dealt with, actually my first year of college, I dealt with a lot of issues because I was on the meal plan for my college, and I ended up getting a lot of mental health issues. I'm not saying it's because of the meal plan, but I do think that not being able to prepare my own food actually contributed to it a little bit, because I was dealing with a lot of stomach issues, and when my body hurts, my brain hurts. So I did struggle with that a lot. And I'm no longer on the meal plan. I'm no longer on the meal plan, and I am really focusing on actually preparing my own food and just being really careful about what I put into my body. Not again because I feel like I need to eat a certain way, but because I just have so many health issues and stomach issues that is something that is really helpful for me and almost kind of needed for me. So I think in that case, in applying this to your life, or just putting this in a general thing, is really just pay attention to what your body has been asking of you. For me, it's food. For other people, it might be things like exercise or rest, or I don't know. But I mean, there's so many different things that your body is telling you. And I think the moment that I started listening to that this year was like a major shift for me. So that has been really helpful. And with that as well, another thing that I've been listening to my body with more is yoga and meditating. I have been slacking on the yoga lately, and I need to get back on that. But it has been something that is so important to me. I am not I'm not a sports person. I have my feelings about weight room. I go back and forth on that. I am not a runner. I don't like running, like all of those different things. I'm really a person who loves combining the body and mind and soul together in one activity. So for some people that might be weight room or a different sport or different things like that. But for me, that's yoga and Pilates, which I've been doing lately. My school actually offers Pilates classes, so I've been taking them as classes, and it has been so helpful for me. So I just encourage you to try new things. And again, just listen to what your body has been telling you, and really, I don't know, it's been really helpful for me. So I feel like that was a really short episode, but I'm looking at my timeline here and it says it's like 18 minutes unedited. So once it's edited, it might be a lot shorter, but I think we're going to end it at that. I think that's a pretty good place to start with the intentions for the end of the month and next year. And I'm really excited about doing this video content now. I'm really excited about seeing where it ends up going. Let me know how you feel about it. And make sure to subscribe to wherever you're listening so that you don't miss an episode. I'll be back next time.